What's up, everybody? It's Frederick Douglass Bussey back with another Scholasty whiteboard session. I'm super excited to have you with me today. Today we are going to be talking about something that I think every entrepreneur, every business owner has to be focused on. And I want to give you a new perspective on it, which is literally what we're going to be talking about. So it may not be sexy if you're just thinking about 3x versus 10x or 100x. But what we're going to do is give you a foundation to be able to do whatever you need to do to be able to scale up your business using your marketing to get more leverage and greater returns. Let's go to work. All right, if you're watching this on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, drop a comment below. Let us know where you're watching it from as we dive in. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, what you're discovering from this whole process, what thoughts it's triggering for you, and if you're able to come up with some new ideas, because this is literally what we want to do. We want to shift your perspective. And so one of the things we want to talk about, right? Again, when it comes to Scholasty model, we have three different basic frameworks, right? So the idea is to be able to generate more momentum in your business. Momentum is spelled roughly like that, right? And it comes from three basic areas: mindset, influence, and leverage. Now, why is this so important? Because when you put all these things together, it helps you to be able to scale to get the velocity that you want to do to get out of your business, henceforth Scholasty. Influence is about being able to expand your capacity to persuade people, to convert them, to bring them into your tribe, to convert them as clients, whatever the case may be. And one of the key elements of the influence is marketing, right? Now, marketing for a lot of people, we've broken down the difference between advertising, marketing, sales, and branding. Those are different elements, but a lot of people wrap that all up into one. And one of the things that you want to understand about marketing is essentially creating a story that positions you as an ideal alternative or the ideal solution for whatever people are looking for, right? And what we find a lot of times what people are doing is when they're advertising, they're telling people about themselves, but they are not telling them people why they are the ideal market, why they are the ideal solution for what they're looking for. And so if you've ever been in a position where you're trying to convince people to buy what you're selling, right? If you're trying to convince people that your product or that your service is the number one thing that they need to be doing, the challenge can be is that you are competing against so many other different other companies, other brands, other solutions that are out there, right? So obviously, if you are one of many, then you are going to have to compete on a different level. What we want to do is we want to be able to completely change the narrative so that you are no longer competing with everybody else that's out there. What you're doing is that you become a category of one, right? So a lot of people like to talk about brand positioning and things of that nature. I want to talk about it on the marketing level because there's one aspect of the marketing that I think we can really focus on to be able to get you more and more results. And this is what we're seeing over and over again. We're going to use a couple of examples to talk about that. And then we're going to show specifically a framework for you to be able to unlock greater returns on what you're already doing now. And this works whether you're doing market or organic marketing, whether you're doing paid advertising, whatever the case may be. And it's interesting, people don't talk about paid marketing. They talk about paid advertising, but not paid marketing. And essentially, that's what you want to be able to do, is that you want to take your marketing and make it more effective so that you can convert more people. Here is the basic idea, right? This is not exactly an eraser. It's more like a smear. But we're going to smear that out of the way. All right, so here's the idea, right? Marketing has a few essential ingredients, right? One of those is your message. And your message is not just what you want people to know. Your messaging, if you will, is a way of telling people something in a way that they never thought of it before or whatever. And so what I like to call it is mental geometry. Mental geometry. What is geometry? So if you've ever watched basketball, NBA, for whatever reason, you know that people. One of my favorite sports stars is Steph Curry, and one of the things that people say about Steph Curry is that he has changed the geometry of the game. What does that mean? That means that because now he is able to shoot more accurately from further out, now teams have to defend him for greater spaces on the court. So for instance, here's the basketball court, right? And this is the half court, this is the 3-point line, etc. It used to be that most of the game was played in here. And then they added the 3-point line, and most players played around here. They played around the 3-point line. But because Steph Curry could hit from half court, now all of these areas of the court are in play, which means that the defense has to come out here. And because of that, now you have more area to work with, which means that there's more space for other players to be able to play. The defense has to defend for longer, and so it creates more pressure on the defense. You have to defend for wider spacing and more time, and because now, if you're not up close, he's open as soon as he steps across half court. So essentially what you want to be able to do with your marketing is you want to be able to open up the court, right, to create more scoring opportunities. You want to extend your range. And so if you're deadlier from further away, if you are more effective with more people, then you're going to be able to transform your business, essentially, right? So let's think about the math of it, right? Just by transforming the geometry and making your messaging more effective. It may not sound like much, but if your return on your investment, right, is, let's say, $10,000 a month. You're investing $10,000 a month, and your return on your marketing is roughly 2x, right? So that means your ROI equals 20K a month, right? But if you can 3x that, simply 3xing your return, right? And I'm not talking about what you're spending, but for that same $10,000 a month, now you're getting 60K, right? So by 3xing what you're doing, you're actually making 6 times what you're spending. And isn't that powerful? So simply by you being able to adjust what you are getting out of what you're putting in, not spending more, right? But you're actually able to increase that exponentially. It works even if you're spending no money, but especially if you have the leverage to be able to do that. And you know that if I put $1 in, I can get $6 out. That's the type of business that anybody will want to be in. And so while it can sound sexy to say, oh, I want 10x or I want 100x return, essentially, if you could put $1 in and get $6 out, you're transforming your business tremendously. Now, here's the thing, right? If I know I can 3x that and I'm spending 20K a month now, right? And I'm getting the same return, I'm getting 40K a month, right? The same ratio, 2x. But I can 3x that. Now I'm getting 120K, right? And now that is essentially still 6x, but the return, it makes me even more profitable because I don't have to spend more resources. All I'm doing is adjusting what I'm getting out of it. Now, why am I talking about this, right? Because I haven't even told you what the thing is. The aspect of shifting the geometry with your marketing is this, right? Let's look at a triangle, right? Essentially, what most marketers are trying to do is that they are trying to get someone to look at one side of a thing, right? And so I want to use my marketing to be able to get people to see, hey, this is my side of it. Imagine that these are your competitors, right? So your competition is here and here. And you want people to say, hey, look at our side because our side of the triangle is much better, right? But what if you could change the geometry? And so instead of looking at one side, they're actually looking at the top. So now you're saying, I want you to see the entire picture, right? And so what somebody may look at and see only as a wall, now they can see as an entire triangle. And so now what you've done is you've created a multi-dimensional picture of the same issue. And you can do this in multiple ways, right? So a lot of times people can talk about one a product or one problem in one particular way, but when you can make it three-dimensional, now all of a sudden you appear to be a greater option for people because you have helped them to change their perspective on what they're looking at, right? Imagine, for instance, that most of your competition is all focused on this one point right here, right? And everybody wants to illustrate this whole point. If you were the one that now all of a sudden got them to look at one side of it versus just one narrow corner, you would have opened up the possibilities there. And so that is 3xing, literally 3xing what you're able to accomplish, because people are focused on the point. You've got a whole side. If they're only focused on the side, where can you find the other aspects to create other angles for people to be able to understand the problem and solution in a much different way? And so being able to shift that narrative is the key. What happens is that when a lot of people come into a market, what they tend to do is they all tend to focus on the same side, right? And so maybe they focus on this end here, or they focus on this end here or in the middle, but it's all the same perspective. And so what they're doing is they're all applying the same angle to their messaging. And so they're just trying to get let's find a different angle on this. But what they're really doing is they're looking at the same angle from a different piece of it. And what you want to be able to do is shift the geometry to completely, right? What if we could, for instance, take this triangle right? So we've got a triangle, but let's say we open it up. And instead of having a triangle here, we actually open up one side completely and let people in. And now let's say we add other angles to it, right? All based on what we are telling people, what we're describing for them, how we're helping them to understand what we're talking about. What you want to be able to do is you want your marketing, your messaging to be able to shift the geometry for people in their minds. And when you do that, you now own that space because this shape is unique to you, right? Whereas your competition is fighting over this, the triangle, you own this entire area. And that's all because you're able to shift the mental geometry of your audience by the ways you're thinking. I'm literally trying to do that with you now, right? How can I shift your perspective on what you're thinking about, what you're working with, so that you can very clearly understand that you have the capacity to do so much more? It opens up the possibilities for you in a way you never imagined. All right. Let me know what you're thinking about this, what you discovered from this conversation, if it was helpful for you. Was it confusing for you? A lot of people don't like to talk about geometry and math, but is this a different or a more powerful way for you to be able to discover how you can continue to grow your business, how you can continue to expand the possibilities, create more freedom, more time, and more impact for yourself? If this is valuable for you, drop a comment below. Let me know. If you're watching this on replay, drop a hashtag replay. Let me know what you're discovering as well. Hey, and if you haven't followed us yet on LinkedIn, do so. If you're not yet a member of the 7-Figure Circle $1 Million Mastermind, our free Facebook group here on Facebook, make sure that you click the link in my profile so you can join, or click the link down below in the comments of this video. We got the link for you to be able to go there and join as well. And hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, then like, subscribe, share, hit the bell so you can get the notifications whenever we go live and we share more content that can be valuable and helpful for you. All right. With that being said, my name is Frederick Douglass Bussey. This has been another Scholocity whiteboard session. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, the next day, and serving you as well. And hey, we've got a ton of great videos on YouTube as well. Go back and check that out. You can also check them out in the Facebook group as well. Let us know how we can serve you. If there might be a great fit for us to work together, shoot us a comment, shoot me a DM and let me know. And we might be able to serve you and supporting you and growing your business and be able to create more freedom, more time, more impact in your life. All right. My name is Frederick Douglass Bussey. As always, ever forward.